You're live. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Yay!
We're live. I've got Susan K. Worley, Yadira Fredrickson, and Veronica, as well as Andrea from High Point Companies here. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
Good, good.
I'm tired. I think we got a Finch show coming up or something. And they made me come to Vegas last minute. And Brian has made us walk the entire city of Las Vegas. How many times?
Several times.
At least 3 times.
At least.
Lots of walking.
Yes. And then I got Andrea down here texting me like every day, hey, we can have a meeting today. I need information from you. And I'm like, okay. Come in. And she's like, no, Susan, I'm not joking.
So today, guys, we have a couple of different topics on the schedule. It looks like we have, we're going to be discussing mod rates as well as workers' comp and safety.
Yeah,
so thanks for coming in. Thanks for jumping on, guys.
I don't know much about this, so I'm just going to sit back and be moral support.
We all need a little bit moral support.
Absolutely.
Okay, so today we'll be discussing, I guess, what your experience modification ratings are, also known as mod rates,
or also known as EMR. A lot of people, yes. It's called different things in different places, but a lot of times on your applications or on your paperwork, it'll say mod rate or EMR.
Yes. So what that is just a mathematical calculation that's kind of based on your historical claims, as well as it's just a number that's unique to employers, expressed as a rating value, meaning that 0.75 you'd get a credit for your insurance, and then if it was a 1.25 you'd get a debit towards your workers' comp.
So hold on, are you telling me that like me and you, let's say we have the same business in the same city, but I have one more claim than you, like we're going to get charged differently? And like,
yes.
Oh,
yes. That's exactly what
it's scam to me. It sounds like an insurance scam.
Not only is she saying that, but it also could potentially, if both of you are applying for a commercial project, the same commercial project, and let's just say, miraculously, the 1 in a million chance, you guys have the same dollar amount on your bid, your EMR rate would actually be higher. And so Yadira's establishment would more than likely be awarded that project because they have a better safety rating.
Correct. Yes. So it's super important to have, to know what that mod rate is for your business. Obviously, it's based off of your workers' comp, your wages on your workers' compensation. It's based on your accidents or claims that you've had in the past 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, as well as hours, like how many hours you guys are logging as far as what they call risk hours. So we're going to kind of get into some of the work comp stuff. You can have different coding depending on what people are within your organization and what their risk is in regards to having a work comp case, because obviously a field team is going to have more risk than myself or people that are internal. So there's different.
So that's it. It's very important to have. It's very important to have your employees correctly categorized in your payroll.
Yes.
So if you have, say, a person who works in the office versus a person who works in the field, it's important for you not to have them mismatched on your payroll. So make sure that you're not paying higher rates for somebody that's working in the office.
Has a lower risk. Absolutely. And you're really not doing your organization any justice if you don't realize that there's different tiers or different definitions that goes in. Hey, Jeff. So really making sure that you're communicating with your insurance company or with the state that you are currently in. Yadira and I are both in states that are work comp funded. So it doesn't show up on our general liability certificate of insurance. It shows up as a totally different thing, totally different organization. Andrea, I believe Colorado is through your normal insurance company. Is that correct? Do you know by chance?
I don't know. That would be a Lauren question. I don't know that.
I'm pretty
and this is the reason why I kind of wanted to have somebody from the insurance world to kind of help us understand, where do these mod rates come from? You know, how are they, how is each state come up with these numbers? And I know that the national insurance world has their own numbers that, like, I don't know, 40 something other states go off of only. So certainly only a certain number of states that go are based off of internal.
And I'm gonna hold on. Andrea had us put a disclaimer at the bottom. Can you tell us what that says, please?
It says the women of FWA are not insurance agents. Therefore, we advise seeking professional advice. This conversation is for entertainment purposes only.
Thank you.
Because this whole live right now, I know like this much compared to what all of you guys are saying.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate
it's like when I talk medical terminology to other people that don't understand it.
We're like, wah, wah, wah. I'm like, wait a minute, that could happen? So typically based off of the national standard for an EMR, divide a company's payroll by classification by 100, multiplied by a class rate determined by the National Council of Comprehension Insurance, divide the actual accrued loss by the expected loss. So some stages through the insurance company, other Ohio is through the state. Yes. So Ohio is another one. Nevada is one. Wyoming is one. And I'll tell you, those of us that are in state ran work comp really butt heads with contractors or with other people that are in other states. I couldn't tell you how many times I've had to go rounds with people because they're like, your COI doesn't have work comp listed. I'm like, I'm fully aware. I sent you my work comp information. Yeah. They're like, this is a requirement. I'm like, no, not in our state. It's not. So yeah. You really have to know how to navigate that in the event that you are planning on working in another state. Yes. Or if you plan on working for a company that is from another state. This goes right back to knowing your lien rights, knowing those processes, where you're working. It is really, really, really beneficial for you to do your homework. Like Yadira and I were talking, you have different rates depending on each person's or that role's risk as far as an insurance claim. Now I know that Wyoming, we work ours off of a percentage. So, I mean, you could easily save yourself 2 or 3 percentage points on your work comp every single month or week or quarter, or however your state decides to pay it. So making sure that you're not classifying everybody in one group is super critical for your organization. It helps with cash flow, helps with your bottom line at the end of the year. You know, there's a lot of things that that could potentially help. So if you've currently in your organization have one code, I would strongly recommend you go talk to, if your state ran, to go talk to the state. Or if you are through your general liability insurance, please get a hold of your insurance company and ask them if they have different tiers depending on different risk.
And the difference is astronomical. I mean, you're looking at like 7 or 8% for somebody in the field versus somebody like a 0.75% for somebody in the office. So
absolutely,
that's a lot of money.
And that's difference.
Yeah, and that's again, that's one of those really weird calculation plans, 200,000 times X times Y times Z to get to that. But it could definitely be worth the headache to go through it.
Yeah. So with that being said, I was just going to ask you guys what types of things do you guys do to kind of mitigate safety accidents? I know that I did read that, 1/3 of accidents that happen usually happen within the very first year of the organization opening and the very first year of the employee coming in. So it's very important to have to onboard your new employee, to make sure that they know what your systems are, your processes are, and that there's to limit the number of accidents that they might have. So what do you guys do for safety? How often do you guys hold safety meetings, Andrea?
The guys do periodic safety trainings. If there are specific hazards to the job, they go over those things specifically. For us, we've got rattlesnakes and other things. Like, we've done jobs up in the mountains where there's been rattlesnakes. They kind of have to be like, hey guys, this is what you need to do. They have all the information as of if you were to get bitten, then they have there. There's also the risk of large open holes or fires from hot work. Like if they're welding out in the middle of nowhere, which they have done before.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah, we also do on-site welding.
It's more of a project to project type thing.
Yeah.
So it's more of a project to project. They kind of base it, but they also are given when they're hired, they have a whole onboarding, all the things that they have requirements for as far as safety and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what I do for safety every day is when I get up, I let myself know that I can't spin in my chair too fast and then stand up.
See, that's why we pay a lower rate for you in the office.
I don't know. After this, every morning pay a higher rate. Now that the company is watching this.
So just FYI, don't spin too fast. Don't stand up, especially if you've had too many drinks. Just whatever.
Just have a seat, Susan. Have a seat.
I definitely don't have a rattlesnake problem. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't actually run into too many rattlesnakes out here in Las Vegas either, but I would imagine that in Colorado.
They are there, Udara. Let's not.
Oh, yes.
They're there.
I'm sure there are.
Get me out of here.
So we do JSAs, depending on the job, which is a JSA every day, which is job safety analysis. And that is through everybody on the team. Here's our risks. Here's how we're going to get through it. Here's some things to watch out for. This is when you need to team up together. We also do weekly safety meetings across the entire company. We're extremely spread out. So we really utilize, email in that case, or electronic signatures. And it is up to that team to take the time to read through that and sign that. Toolbox talks, they're readily available right off of OSHA's site. Download them. You are giving your team the exact information that OSHA is telling you. They're going to cite you for if you're not following that. One of the things that we do, which is a little bit different than any other organization, is an OSHA 10 class and certification is a pre-employment requirement for SWI.
We're here, us too.
So before you can sign your I-9, before you can sign your documents, you've got to show that pretty little certificate. And then we also require a renewal every 3 years. OSHA 10 does not expire. OSHA 30 does not technically expire. It is our company policy to go through and redo the training every 3 years. Things, might change a little bit, or a refresher. We become compliant. We forgot about something, so making sure that you're keeping that in your guys' mind and doing that refresher does nothing to help them.
Right. So, but let's be honest, everybody has accidents. Accidents happen, mistakes are made, bad situations happen. What do y'all do to document that?
So there's a couple different ways you can do it.
Yeah. So there's actually an entire process that for us that you have to follow for in case of an accident happens. There's a number of forms that need to be completed by a certain date from the accident. There's a C1, an incident report, a C3, an employer's report of injury. There's a C4, which is what the doctor has to fill out when the employee goes to the doctor when he had the accident. The doctor has to fill out by a certain. So there's all these timelines that you have to follow. And And we've actually only been, luckily, you know, in the 10 years of business that I've been doing this, in the office, I've only had to file it maybe once. And I think I'll tell you guys about Sean. Sean is probably our oldest employee, but Sean is, an American Indian guy. And, like 2 years ago, I think he was grinding something with a grinder, and he stepped on the cable or something, and it ended up flipping, and it ended up cutting like half his face right here.
Oh,
It wasn't. I mean, it was obvious and it was apparent that, you know, he cut his face. He ended up having to go to the ER. But this is how important it is for you to have workers' comp. But the next day, he was here at work, ready to work.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, Sean, go home.
You can't be here.
Sean, go home. He literally went to the ER that day. They patched him up. He was good to go. They gave him some pain medication. And the next morning, he was here at work. I was just like shocked. But that leads me into another thing, too, about workers' comp cases and your mod rates also is that not all your workers' comp cases are created equal. So which means that they're not going to affect your rates the same. So for something, I'm not an insurance agent, but if it's a small claim where somebody might have gotten something in their eye, or they had to go to the doctor and get it out, or versus something like, you know, you have to go through physical therapy, or you had to have surgery, or you're out of work.
Right. So a lot of it is based off of the dollar amount of the loss. So yes. So typically they budget per se for X amount of dollars of work comp loss. As long as you're within your, and I say the word budgeted, that's not the correct word. It's the allotted loss, I guess. Yeah. So as long as you don't have excessive and you're not over the thresholds of the allotted loss, then typically it does not affect your EMR. Now, it could affect your OSHA rating, but it does not affect your EMR or your mod rate, depending on, you know, whatever term, you know, you use. So it really comes down to that dollar amount and being aware of what that threshold is.
Yeah.
And making sure that you know how work comp works. What is the process? Like you said, in Nevada, there's all these crazy kind of deadlines. You know, in Wyoming, we do have deadlines. The office does have to report it within 24 hours. Then on top of it, we run into situations in the past where an incident wasn't even reported to us. Correct. Until a week later. Does that make them ineligible? No, it doesn't. It just opens up a whole new can of worms for kind of going through this.
Yeah.
So knowing what the proper steps are. If you have to have work comp through your general liability insurance, that I would strongly recommend you do your homework and get with your insurance company and find out what their requirements are. Are there certain forms that need to be filled out? Is there a timeline for them to be filled out? Is there, you know, they've got to have some kind of structure or, you know, process, I guess, that they have to follow.
Yeah. And that's where it's important to have a good insurance agent, because it's important to have a good relationship with your workers' comp agent as well. For us, we have a dedicated safety specialist that comes out to our office and actually goes through a series of topics of safety to discuss about once a quarter with the whole team. So that's what part of our safety process is. But they're there to help you, and they're on your team. And whenever you do encounter something like that, your first call should always be to your safety specialist, because they're gonna
you get them to the emergency room. Time out. If they are missing a limb or have a gash across the face, or
do not call the safety specialist, go to the ER.
Yeah, don't call them first. Please don't call them first. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there.
No, you're absolutely right.
Very good advice. Oh my goodness.
You're absolutely right. But
Wow.
yeah, it's important to have it. It covers, like I said, rehabilitation, therapy, disability benefits, death benefits in the case of an accident, and a death in your family. It covers benefits to your survivors and stuff. So very important to have.
Wow, that's intense. Do we have anything on this for the Fence Show on the education side for mod rates? Is there anybody out there who would like to teach an education session on mod rates? Because I feel like this is so intense and like so much information, but I guess it also varies by state too as well.
It does. It very much does, like on state. Like Yadira said that their work comp advocate actually comes out and does all these. So in Wyoming, you can actually apply for work comp discounts, and there's 4 of them that you can apply for. You have to renew every single year. One of them is our drug and alcohol policy. We have to submit that to the state. They change their questions every year on what the question is and where in your handbook does it state the answer to this.
What if you don't have a handbook?
Then you can't apply for the discount. So
you need help with the handbook, reach out to Veronica at office SWI at www.com.
So that's one discount that we can get. Another one that's a big one for us is Wyoming Work Comp actually has a OSHA division. And we have a rep out of the OSHA division, and he comes out and he visits every single one of our locations, every one of them. He makes sure that we all have the same safety handbook on file. He makes sure that all of our SDS sheets are up and current and readily available. We don't have any electrical cords strung out across the shop, that we have hard hat areas if it is a requirement. So he goes through all this, and then it's not he's going to ding us if we have something wrong. He writes it down on an action item. He sends it to us after he's completed all of our audits. We then prove that we have fixed it. So whether if that's pictures or he has to come back out and look at something, then we submit all that and we get our discount for the year. Does it take, an hour or 2 hours per location? Yes. But you're talking a 10% discount across the board. So way worth every penny.
Yeah, for sure.
That's another one that I would strongly recommend, whether if you are state ran or whether if you're through your normal liability insurance, is to actually get with your insurance company and ask them if there are any discount programs or any discount information that you can supply showing that you are in compliance.
Well, that's cool. That's really great advice.
That's cool.
I feel like we've learned a lot today, and it's now time for Andrea to talk about the Fence Show and Security Expo.
Do it, Andrea.
It's coming. It's in a couple. It's coming.
Let's talk about the woman of FWA booth. She's basically like the brain behind the design. She's creating the schedule. So after our meeting this week, she's going to post on social media to see what women out there want to volunteer their time.
I've got a whole sign up sheet for who wants to come hang out in the booth and get other women, No, Brian, you can't. This is
time is starting, he says.
Denied by all 4. How does that feel, Brian?
No, yeah. We're going to be posting a sign up sheet on all of our social medias to have any women who are attending to sign up, come hang out and man the booth for us. So
manning the booth, so signing up just to hang out and chit chat and
pretty much
give away some free stuff and
we've got a couple other things that are coming.
So you can volunteer to sit on the couch in the women event.
You can volunteer to sit on a couch. Yep.
I
And
love
literally,
that. This is like my
sit
kind of
on the
volunteer
couch,
work.
drink your drink of choice. You know, it's our booth is to, you know, hang out and get to know all the women and like, you know, we're gonna make more friends and more. Yeah.
I love it.
That. And Andrea, what are some of the other events happening during the show? Because I know you texted me today and said my schedule was wrong. So can you set the world straight, please?
Yeah. So there's of course demo days. During the show on Thursday, we will be having a Women of FWA happy hour and breakout rooms. And then I think I believe it's September 11th. Homeland is throwing a party.
Woo-woo!
There's no party like a Homeland party.
Absolutely. The kickoff party.
Yeah.
But you do have to register. They have a QR code. It's been posted on social media. It'll go out in emails and stuff like that. But yes, I expect all the women to be like on the front row, like representing. So over the weekend, I found a coupon in my room. I'm staying at South Point here to get in to go see the Spasmatics for free. And so I had 2 coupons.
Well, okay. So when she told me, it was like 11 a.m. And she texts me and she says, hey, the Spasmatics, we should go see the Spasmatics because they're playing at South Point at 5:30. So I was like, oh, yeah, perfect. It's 5:30, you know, because I like go to bed at like, you know, 8:30. I'm like already in bed. So then it was like 5:30 or 6:30. And she says, oh, I made a mistake. It's not until 10:30. I'm like, that's way too late.
So she's like, bitch, I turned into a pumpkin at 9 o'clock.
So yes, needless to say, she made me stay up all night. And then we went to see the Spasmatics, and the show was so good. The music was so great. So I'm really excited to see them again. And I'm really excited for you guys to experience them too.
I love that. So I'm seeing pictures of you guys floating around Las Vegas for, you know, things for people to go do. Like you guys just went to M&M World.
Yeah.
Where else did you guys go?
Coca-Cola World.
That's all right there together. That's right there on the strip, just right down the way from Planet Hollywood, which is in MGM, or it's right off of MGM actually. So super easy to get to. Great little walking strip mall to go through.
Yeah, it was so fun to experience. And like, where's this soda from? China. It smells just like soy sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we tasted some nasty sodas. Okay, it was worth it, but we did.
So they still have the fountains inside Coca-Cola World where you can try all the sodas, right?
So they actually they give them to you in trays, and you can sample them. Yeah.
So it used to be different, like back in the Stone Age when I grew up in Vegas. It used to be like the center of this room was a bunch of just like soda taps, I guess.
Okay.
And then it had a label of where it was from and you know the flavors in it. But I know that they had changed it, and I figured that with COVID it really had changed. Yeah. So
yeah, it changed a little bit. But it was fun. Needless to say, it was a lot of fun. Definitely highly recommend for, especially like if you have your littles or, you know, super fun for them to do as well.
And you get to ride the giant Coke bottle elevator to go up to the other floors. The M&M World, every flavor, color, any of that M&M that you could possibly think of, they've got it. And then on top of it, you can get custom M&Ms made there. I'm pretty sure Brian has some with his face on it just because he's kind of obsessed with himself.
He's like, hey, we got to get a custom M&M made. Like, yeah.
I love that. So you guys are checking out Vegas for us. So that way Andrea has a full list of things to do while she's there, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. I love that.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like Charlie's going to make it tonight. My heart's broken, but I understand. I imagine something came up and like maybe we'll interview him next week. So for those of you who showed up just to hear from Charlie,
we're sorry.
You got us.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
No, thanks, you guys. It's always good chatting with you all.
Thank you guys. I think it was a good one. Definitely do your homework on your insurance company, whether if it's state ran or not. Don't be afraid to ask for discounts. Do your research on when to report, how to report, why to report, and how does that affect you long term.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Talk
Thank
to
you
you guys
guys.
soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.